What to think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everyone. I'm Will Bard. This is the Cold Break Festival. Thank you for joining us. What happened? The cops shoot an innocent man in Salt Lake City. I saw that they arrested somebody for a shooting in Salt Lake City, right? Or that was on No King's Day. They arrested a guy with an AR in his backpack that was hiding among the crowd. It was actually pretty scary. Somebody just came. He looked kind of out of place. Somebody walked up to him and said, "Holy shit!" Grabbed his bag and ran away. And that was all wild. And then the cops come and kind of pounced on him. Anyways, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm Will Bard. This is Cobra Confessional. And then it seems like we got this going on. Give me a second.
Texted a short video clip, runs about 12 seconds from a neighboring farm in Green Isle that picks up the bullhorn of the arrest. I'm going to play it. It's coming off my phone into the microphone. I hope our viewers can hear it. I can translate the audio on the back end, but let's share this. This would have been
I'm so glad this motherfucker's going to face justice.
Minutes ago as
Instead of being like the pussies that fucking shoot themselves.
Vance Belter was taken into custody alive.
Guys, we have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. You are surrounded. Stand up with your hands empty and above your head and come to the sound of my voice.
Let's do that one more time for you all, but I understand it came across cleanly.
We have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. You are surrounded. Stand up with your hands empty and above your head and come to the sound of my voice.
Come to the sound of my voice. You are surrounded.
We have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. You are surrounded. Stand up with your
I have to look at that Utah thing. I did not hear about it or see it.
empty and above your head and come to the sound of my voice.
Come to the sound of my voice one more
Guys,
time.
we have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. You are surrounded.
That's a felony arrest, right? Where they have them come out, put their hands up, and then basically turn around, face away from them, and back up to the sound of my voice. Then they'll have them lay down in the prone position, hands out and away, kind of like a jumping jack position.
Stand up with your hands empty and above your head and come to the sound of my voice.
Sometimes on their knees. It's better to have them on their belly. That way, if they have something tucked in their waistband, right? If you have them on their knees with their hands up, it's a pretty quick motion to do something like this, right? Yeah, the cops will probably shoot them before they get a gun, but still, if it's tucked in your waistband, you're laying on your belly, it's kind of hard to get to.
So there you go. Just a few minutes ago, Green Isle, or Sibley County, Minnesota. I should say, I don't exactly know the township or the location there, but the bullhorn, they have an arrest warrant. It's hard to make out. It's you typically would get on your cell phone a video that's shared with you. It's grainy. Obviously I can see some authorities. It's taken from a nearby farm, but you hear there authorities in their final encounter, as we understand it, with Vance Belter near his property, Green Isle, Minnesota, a wanted political assassin doing the unthinkable, allegedly this weekend attacking two lawmakers in their own homes, killing the Speaker Emerita and her.
It looks like there might be video here. Hold on.
Gravely injuring the Hoffmans, and so tonight in custody.
Reiterate some of what Paul mentioned.
See this picture here? Where does this picture come from? A video?
This is where it gets to the next phase, and that is the charges that will be filed against Belter in District Court, 4th Judicial District. This is from Hennepin County, obviously. Charge 1, second-degree murder with intent. On or about June 14th, Hennepin County, Vance Luther Bolter acting with intent to kill, cause the death of victim 1. And then, there we go. Thank you for the video out of Green Isle. That is live right now, folks, and the image you see up on the top left is...
Green Isle's where he had his home at. By the way, something really weird that I didn't know until today. His wife was in a vehicle that was pulled over in Canada, where passports and a large amount of cash were also found. I don't know if he went to his own property. I'm just saying he owns property there in Green Isle. That's where his house with his family is. The house that we saw raided with that big fat guy that was crying, that's where he stays at when he's working in the city. He rents a room there.
Vance Bolter being apprehended.
Authorities told Fox 9 that Jennifer Lynn Boltier was in a vehicle with several other relatives who were questioned after a traffic stop in an Onamia area in Millie Lacs County on Saturday morning. My office assisted with law enforcement from Hennepin County on a stop near a convenience store in the city of Onamia. Our role in this stop was perimeter. We did not search or question any of the occupants. I was told by my staff, who responded that the shooting suspect's wife was in the car along with several other relatives. The Millie Lacs County Sheriff's Office was not directly involved with searching the vehicle or questioning the occupants, but Burton said there was a large group of investigators from several metro agencies on the scene. Fox 9 has been told during the stop where the suspect's wife's relatives were questioned, they were found with passports and a large amount of cash. Bolter's wife is not currently in custody. He's been named as a suspect in the shooting that killed, whatever.
Thanks to Ramsey County Police. They sent us this on their Facebook page, which we really appreciate.
What's crazy is he went to the place where he rents a room. And the cop said, hey, okay, thanks, Bugdo. The cop said, hey, he's got extra cars there. He has extra vehicles there. But he didn't take one of his extra vehicles, but he did bust the window out of one to get something out of the inside of it, I guess. The only thing I can imagine is like all of his keys are on the same key ring and he must have left it with the SUV. But why wouldn't he take a car from there? That seems wild.
Because viewers at home are seeing the first images of an arrest right there. Count 2, secondary murder, again, on or about June 14th, acting with intent to kill, cause the death of victim 2. These are the ones, Melissa Hortman and her husband. And then there were 2 more charges, similar charges, attempted murder on those 2, second degree as well. Those are the charges. And I am reading also that it looks like a $5 million bond will be requested for condition of release on this warrant as well. So that will be next phase as we continue to follow this story. We are waiting, our viewers should know, we are waiting a 10:30 update from police on this, where Paul Bloom is. So that is certainly going to provide a lot of information on how this thing went down. We're filling in the pieces, connecting the dots, because we had some.
It seems like he works in security. It seems like he may have gotten his start working in the security with the work that he did with food manufacturers, which sounds weird, but if you know more about food manufacturers that do stuff globally, they do have security teams. The security company I used to work for used to do some stuff in South America for a food manufacturer. But anyways, and then it seems to me like he's heavily padded his resume. There's no way he's doing all this shit.
Really awesome sourcing tonight. Some great sources calling in.
Have proof he was a Democrat, I'm sure.
Down pretty much as it looked like it was going to.
And Randy, as I'm just reading through the statement of probable cause in real time here with you and with Paul, there have been a lot of questions from people who are, I guess, just kind of curious about what happened at the Hortman home, because we knew the officers arrived. We knew that there
Happy Father's Day. Any fathers out there, by the way?
Exchange, and then we knew that the suspect fled. But we have just a little bit more sort of detail here, because I think the question that is posed sometimes is, well, how did he get away? And you've got officers right there. But so I just wanted to read to you just this portion here. So let's see. Paul mentioned they proactively sent a couple of patrol officers from Brooklyn Park to the home.
As a wellness check, as I understand it, right?
Yeah, just sort of proactively saying, hey, we know that the Hortmans live in Brooklyn Park. All the PD, they know where the sort of VIPs are living in their communities. So it says when officers arrived at approximately 3:35 a.m., they saw the Ford SUV with police-style lights and immediately saw the defendant.
That's kind of weird to me. Still, like, I understand what they're claiming, but okay, let's say I show up at the sheriff's house for some reason, right? I show up at the sheriff's house in my town, and the sheriff's dead. The first thing I do is, like, I know where another deputy lives 5.5 miles away. I'm gonna go check their house too.
Still dressed as a police officer.
Which maybe it's different if they're politicians. Maybe you're thinking, this is a targeted thing, maybe. Or maybe they found some type of messaging in there that made them think that it was targeted.
Shoot an adult man, referred to herein as victim 2, who we know is Mark Hortman, through the open door of the home.
Congratulations.
With the defendant.
Great grandpa.
The residence before escaping the area. Inside the residence, officers found 2 adults deceased from gunshot wounds. So we know that to be Mark Hortman and Melissa Hortman. But I think a little bit more information there on that exchange. At what point exactly the officers arrived? How close was it? That gives us a little bit more of an indication.
And there is a gut-wrenching part of this as far as the first incident.
To be fair, if you were a cop in the area, yeah, I guess you could. It doesn't mean you would. But let's say you're a cop. I guess they could have it in their system too. I was going to say, let's say you're a cop and you show up to a house that looks like it's got forced entry. You go in and find a dead person. Are you even going to be able to identify that they're politicians? But maybe in their system they have it like saved. Like that's That's the house of, the sitting blah, 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 maybe.
Incident of the shooting of Senator Hoffman occurred, and I'll read that as well. Champlin police officers responding to a shooting at the residence in Champlin. A 911 call reported that a masked person had come to their door and then shot their parents, which obviously tells all of us that the children,
it was
or child, their daughter, was the one that had to make that 911 call and alert officers that the man had come to their door and shot.
Holy shit. Are you kidding me? The kid called and said somebody in a mask come here and shot my parents?
It was
Or child, their daughter. Person had come to their door and then shot their as well. Champlin police officers responding to a shooting at the residence in Champlin. A 911 call reported that a masked person had come to their door and then shot their parents. Gut-wrenching part of this as far as the first incident of the shooting of Senator Hoffman occurred, and I'll read that as well. Champlin police officers responding to a shooting at the residence in Champlin. A 911 call reported that a masked person had come to their door and then shot their parents, which obviously tells all of us that the children,
it was
or child, their daughter.
That's awful, dude. I mean, at least he didn't kill the kids. He's still a fucking ridiculous far-right piece of shit, but and even if he was left-wing, he's still a piece of shit. I don't mean to say it like that, but at least he didn't kill the kids. I heard he shot their dog, but that could be because the dog tried to bite him or attack him or something.
Was the one that had to make that 911 call and alert officers that the man had come to their door and shot her parents.
We know just from, we've covered stories with Senator Hoffman and his family, and we know just from our Courtney Godfrey, too, that their daughter...
50-plus Democrat politicians, all obviously pro-choice, abortion clinics, abortion clinic workers, doctors and shit, and abortion advocates listed.
Had spina bifida and lived with them, I believe, about 28 years old is what we were told. And so she, as we're reading now, unfortunately, was, as we feared, the one who made that call to 911.
This information released moments ago because there was an arrest.
Okay, so is it an adult child that had a debilitating disease?
She, as we're reading now, too, that their daughter Hope had spina bifida and lived with them, I believe, about 28 years old is what we were told.
So she's almost 30 years old, but still, I mean, that's horrible.
And so she, as we're reading now, unfortunately, was, as we feared, the one who made that call to 911.
This information released moments ago because there was an arrest. It was to be sealed until that. So
I was imagining like a fucking 12-year-old, you know.
Getting this information very quickly. Again, there's going to be a presser coming up here in about 20 minutes if everything stays on time. There was a very detailed list of the weapons that were found in the alleged shooters.
There's the picture. 3 AK-47 assault rifles, a 9mm handgun, disassembled 9mm firearm, ballistic vest, gold police-style badge.
Vehicle, 3 AK-47 assault rifles, a 9mm handgun, disassembled 9mm firearm, ballistic vest, gold police-style badge. All that fits the description of a man posing as a police.
Dude, he was planning on going. I think he was going to somewhere. He was. It seems like he was going to carry out his plan as far as he could, and maybe even like a crowded area, like a mass casualty event.
Officer when he knocked on the doors of these two Minnesota politicians and their spouses.
Lori, do we have So Young or do we have Karen? Okay. All right, they're just logging in here in just about a minute. We're going to take you out live to Green Isle. I don't know if we want to pop that picture. I know, sorry, Lori, we've got producers in the booth kind of shuffling things around back there. But okay, so here's the live picture of Green Isle.
We're not assuming. He's a MAGA-supporting, hard-right, extreme anti-abortionist from the New Apostolic Reformation Church. He's an ordained minister there. He's as far right as you can get, Christian nationalist. So we're not assuming anything, but...
This would be not necessarily right where the farm is. You can see a little bit more of a paved road there. There's been a staging area, so I'm not sure exactly how close...
He was put on a bipartisan board. You understand if it's a bipartisan board, there's going to be Republicans and Democrats, right? Like, it's not like Tim Walz hired him to be his fucking campaign manager. It's a board of 60 people that they don't even meet regularly in person.
Our crew is...
He had a list of all Democrats and abortion advocates.
I know they wouldn't have been able to get very close to the farm itself, but there was a staging area, and that's where I'm guessing this is. Yeah, they're moving around just a little bit here, where law enforcement has been staged here for the last couple of days. Yeah, that looks like that area too. So,
do a bunch of gun nerds have that stuff? Yeah, but it's in the vehicle that he's traveling around to kill people with. It's not like I have AK-47s before my boating accident. But before my boating accident, they were in the safe. I didn't travel around with 3 AK-47s. No. Wild, dude. Insane. Here's the timeline. About 2 a.m., 911 call in Champlin was made about 2 a.m. Saturday. Police then found the Minnesota Senator Hoffman and his wife Yvette had been shot. Both Hoffman and Yvette are recovering from gunshot wounds after undergoing surgery at the hospital. 3:35 a.m., June 14th. Brooklyn Park police officers then proactively went to the home of Rep. Hortman, authorities say. It was there that they encountered the suspect who was dressed up as an officer with a fake police vehicle and the mask. The suspect opened fire on officers, but the suspect fled. In the suspect's vehicle, authorities found a manifesto with lawmakers' names on it and papers with no kings written on them. It's like scribbled on there, like with a Sharpie. It's weird. The shelter-in-place alert was sent at 5:30 a.m. for a 3-mile radius around Edinburgh Golf Course. Vance Bolter briefly returned to his home around 6 a.m., returned to a home around 6 a.m. near 49th and Fremont in Minneapolis. This is where he rented a room part-time. He texts the 2 roommates that he made some bad choices. He doesn't want to implicate them, and he may be dead soon. He did have vehicles at the home and broke out one of the windows, but it's unclear if he took one of those vehicles before he fled. The image of Bolter from the cowboy hat is from the surveillance cameras near this home. The renters have been allowed back inside their home now. 9:45 a.m., Governor Tim Walz announced at a press conference that Hortman and her husband had died after being shot. Walz said they're cautiously optimistic about Hoffman and his wife's recovery. 11 a.m., authorities say Governor Walz urged people not to attend these political rallies for No King's Day until the suspect is apprehended. 11:30 a.m., Champlin authorities say there is no current threat to public safety in their city. Sometime in the morning on June 14th, authorities confirmed to Fox 9 that Bolter's wife was in a vehicle that was involved in a traffic stop on Saturday morning near Onamia, Onamia. Fox 9 has been told that during that stop, where the suspect's wife and relatives were questioned, they were found with passports and a large amount of cash. Bolter's wife is not in custody. Before 1 p.m., the Associated Press identified Vance Luther Bolter as a suspect. He was appointed by Governor Mark Dayton in 2016 and then reappointed by Governor Walz in 2019 to the nonpartisan Workforce Development Board. His term expired. A governor, like someone told me that their governor probably appoints like 10,000 people every year. Like, it's not like, I don't know why people act like he fucking appointed him to like the Supreme Court of the state, right? This is like a board where they get form letters and like, okay, you're good enough. You were recommended by so-and-so, you're good. Nonpartisan Workforce Development Board, his term expired in 2023. 1:30 p.m., police cleared the scene at Hoffman's house in Champlin. 1:45, police served a search warrant at a home near 49th and Fremont. That's the rental property. In connection with the investigation, authorities used battering rams to get inside. Those who are renting the home told Fox 9 that Bolter was part-time renter of a room in the home. 2 p.m., law enforcement in Green Isle sent tactical units to a home about 5 miles southeast of the town. So they checked this house at 2 p.m. yesterday as part of the manhunt to find Bolter. But it said he was found at a farm. I don't know if the farm and the house are even near each other or close to each other or the same property. As part of the manhunt for Bolter, Bolter has a home in Green Isle. 3 p.m., authorities named Vance Bolter as a person of interest and suspect in the case and asked for the public's help in locating him. 3:03 p.m., Minnesota Governor Tim Walz ordered all U.S. and Minnesota flags to fly half-mast on all state buildings in Minnesota to honor and remember Melissa Hortman. Individuals and businesses are encouraged to do the same, the press release said. Today, Minnesota lost a great leader, a formidable public servant, and a fixture of the state capitol. Melissa Hortman woke up every day determined to make our state a better place, said Governor Walz. She served the people of Minnesota with grace, compassion, and tirelessness. Minnesota's thoughts are with her loved ones. 3:20, Brooklyn Park authorities have cleared the shelter-in-place order, but an alert sent to people living in the area asked people to call 911 if you see something suspicious. Police will still be in the area collecting evidence. Meanwhile, Mercy Hospital remained on lockdown. 3:50, the Hennepin County Medical Examiner released the initial reports for the Hortmans. Says Melissa Hortman, 55, and Mark Hortman, 58, both died of multiple gunshot wounds. A time of death was not listed, but the report says that Mark Hoffman, the husband, died at the hospital, but the wife, Melissa Hortman, died at her home. 4 p.m., the FBI is offering $50,000 for the information leading to the arrest and conviction. 9 p.m., Fox 9 confirmed Yvette Hoffman is awake and alert after the shooting. That's good. 7 a.m. today, the manhunt for Vance Bolter continues into day 2. 10:50 a.m., an emergency alert was issued to Sibley County after Bolter's vehicle was found near Minnesota Highway 25 and 301 Avenue in Faxon Township. The suspect was not located with the vehicle. Law enforcement will be going into area residents to ask and to search properties. And then I guess that's how they ended up finding him, asking in search of properties. There is not a direct quote. It's a form letter. And it says, hey, I'm appointing you back to this board because you're a tireless service and you're an awesome guy. You know how many people get letters from the president that says, hey, thank you for all you've doing for the country. Love you, big guy. He did not know him personally. But there is a letter that exists. We can grab it. Tim Walz letter. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. There it is, but that's too small to make out. Hold on. Here it is. It says Tim Walz, Governor, notice of appointment. Vance Boltier gives an address, Congressional District 2. Because of the special trust and confidence I have in your integrity, judgment, and ability, I have appointed and commissioned you to have and to hold the following office. Business member of the Governor's Workforce Development Board. You think that the 10,000 people he appoints every year, he knows them personally? Like, we've heard the guy preach. We've seen the shit he shares about hardcore anti-abortion. He's part of the New Apostolic Reformation, which is wild in and of itself. But he is his roommates are like, oh yeah, he voted for Trump. He loved Trump. Yeah, he voted for Trump. He didn't talk a whole lot to us about politics, but he loved Trump. Crazy Democrat. This is fucking crazy. Hold on. Not that one. Let me grab the other one. This is wild too. We'll watch it in just a second, but. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. You know how everybody freaked out on Destiny because he made a joke about the firefighter that got shot at the Trump rally or whatever? Or just in general, right? You can't say Governor Hot Wheels. You know, that's way too fucking far. You're way outside the bounds of what's allowed there. Governor Hot Wheels. Are you crazy? Well, let's do this. Sorry, I'm waiting for something to load so I can grab the link, but. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Nope, wrong. Yeah, how do you feel about this post from our good friend Mike Lee? Nightmare on Walt Street. He posted this at 11:15 this morning. Nightmare on Walt Street. It's pretty fucking extreme, right? Like, what the fuck, dude? This is your joke? That's what we're doing here? Some of the bodies aren't even cold yet. Like, what the fuck? Let's see what else he posted. This is what happens when Marxists don't get their way. It seemed like the only super hardline stance he had was Christian nationalism and anti-abortion. Crazy Marxist. The clip I didn't show you just now is this one. This is fucking wild. This is the speaker.
The president said, possibly in jest, that if he were Tom Homan, he would arrest Gavin Newsom. Do you believe that Newsom should face consequences and illegal?
The president suggests that if he were on Tom Homan, he'd arrest Gavin Newsom. Do you think Gavin Newsom should be arrested for what's going on with the protests in California? That's the question.
Way?
That's not my lane. I'm not going to give you legal analysis on whether Gavin Newsom should be arrested, but he ought to be tarred and feathered. I'll say that. I mean, look, he's standing in the way.
Excuse me? He ought to be what? You can write in any name you want. How do you vote for Putin? You write his name. He should be what?
These consequences in a legal way?
That's not my lane. I'm not going to give you legal analysis on whether Gavin Newsom should be arrested, but he ought to be tarred and feathered. I'll say that. I mean, look, he's standing in the way.
He ought to be tarred and feathered. Does he think that's just like a joke or like something that didn't actually happen, or there's like a figure of speech? Like, I don't know if he should be arrested, but he ought to be tarred and feathered. Does he think that's like a figure of speech? Like, they ought to run him out of there. Like, what? Where the fuck does this come from?
That's not my lane. I'm not going to give you legal analysis on whether Gavin Newsom should be arrested, but he ought to be tarred and feathered. I'll say that. I mean, look, he's standing in the way of the administration and the carrying out of federal law. Right? He is applauding the bad guys and standing in the way of the good guys. He is trying to. He's a participant, an accomplice in our federal law enforcement agents being not just disrespected, but assaulted. This is a serious problem, and the governor is now filing a lawsuit against the president. What a joke. Do your job, man. That's what I tell Gavin Newsom. Do your job. Stop working on your rebranding and be a governor.
All of that's fine to say. Do your job. Stop working on your branding. Do your job. Whatever. Tarred and feathered? What the fuck did that slip out? What the fuck is that?
Stand up for the rule of law. He's not doing that. So I don't know what the ultimate measure will be there, but I know that in the interim time, that's not my lane. I'm not going to give you legal analysis on whether Gavin Newsom should be arrested, but he ought to be tarred and feathered. I'll say that. I mean, look, he's standing in the way.
Yeah, she thinks it's a fucking joke, I guess.
Of the administration and the carrying out of federal law, right? He is applauding the bad guys and standing in the way of the good guys. He is trying to. He's a participant, an accomplice in our federal law enforcement agents being not just disrespected but assaulted. This is a serious problem, and the governor is now filing a lawsuit against the president. What a joke. Do your job, man. That's what I tell Gavin Newsom. Do your job. Stop working on your rebranding and be a governor. Stand up for the rule of law. He's not doing that. So I don't know what the ultimate measure will be there, but I know that in the interim time, the president of the United States is showing real leadership, and we're not going to allow LA to burn. We've seen this movie before, right? This thing gets out of hand real quickly, especially in a big city like that. And if local and state officials are unwilling or unable to do their job, the president of the United States will do his, and we support that fully.
I don't know. I don't know why the fuck you would say that. Well, I'm not going to say whether he should be arrested, but he should be tarred and feathered. It's almost like he thinks it's not like a real thing. Like it's just something people say. Like he needs a good spanking or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know why the fuck he would say that. That's insane to me. All right, what we got here? Traffic camera captured the moment. Crowds ran when gunfire erupted at No Kings demonstration on downtown Salt Lake City. See everybody scattering after a gunshot.
Prior to leading up to the shooting, were very peaceful. The event organizers worked closely with us at the Salt Lake City here at Salt Lake City. And up until the point of the shooting, there was no indication of any problems.
We'll read the story in just a second. An innocent bystander at the No Kings demonstration in downtown Salt Lake City was shot and killed Saturday, police said. Arthur Filosa Alu, 39 of Utah, died in a hospital in Salt Lake City, police said in an update. Detectives believe Alu was at the demonstration as a bystander and was not the intended target of the gunfire. Police have arrested Arturo Gamboa, 24. He was booked into Salt Lake City Metro Jail on murder charge. It was not immediately clear whether Gamboa was still in jail Saturday and whether he has an attorney. Also detained Saturday were two men who were part of the event peacekeeping team. One of the peacekeepers fired the shot that fatally injured Alu, police said. It was not immediately clear whether those two men will face charges. The men told police they saw Gamboa move away from the crowd and begin manipulating an AR-15 style rifle, prompting them to draw their guns and order him to drop the weapon, police said. Instead, Gamboa ran into the crowd, holding his gun in a firing position, police said. In response, one of the peacekeepers fired 3 shots, one of which struck Gamboa, and another which hit Alu, according to police. So the person trying to stop the person with the AR-15 ended up shooting an innocent bystander that died. Police said they're still investigating, specifically looking into the actions of the peacekeepers, who are not law enforcement officials. Officials still don't know why Gamboa pulled out the rifle or why he ran from the peacekeepers. Gamboa did not fire the shot that fatally struck Alu, but he still faces murder charge because detectives developed probable cause that Gamboa acted under circumstances that showed a depraved indifference to human life, knowingly engaged in a conduct that created grave risk and of death, and ultimately caused the death of an innocent community member. So the guy with the AR-15 that never fired a shot is being charged with the murder of the guy who caught a stray bullet while people were trying to fire at him. The state medical examiner's office will determine Alu's official cause and manner of death. David provided new details. June 14th shooting, No Kings Day demonstration, Salt Lake City. Alu, 39, was shot and killed while attending permitted rally, blah, blah, blah. A police motor squad detective reported hearing gunshots at 7:56 p.m. Saturday, police said. Officers found Alu injured as they were working to clear the scene and identify the origin of the gunfire, police said. Officials tried to save the man at the scene before he was sent to the hospital in an ambulance. Minutes later, police said they found Gamboa, who was crouching amid a group of people and had a gunshot wound himself. He had an AR-15 style weapon nearby. Okay, that's what I want to find. Hold on, let me find that. Do you think Mike Johnson is going to apologize for saying he should be fucking tarred and feathered? That's insane, right? Or at least it is to me. Like, I want to find this video right quick of the guy who was just literally hiding. Here it is.
It's a rifle right here.
Officers also found a gas mask, black clothing, and a backpack nearby, and the police department said they then identified the peacekeepers wearing high-visibility neon green vests and carrying handguns. The march was one of many No Kings events throughout the country Saturday, a counter to President Donald Trump's military parade in Washington. It also came on the heels of days of protests in Los Angeles and other cities across the country following immigration raids. So here is the video of the guy just hiding with them.
Yeah, we're not fucking. It's a
All right, so see that backpack at the very first part of this video? See this guy walking with the backpack? This backpack right here. He's like, yeah, there's a rifle in this backpack. And then the guy's just squatted right there.
Yeah, we're not fucking. It's a rifle right here. Hey, right there. This guy, I just grabbed this from this guy.
And the reason they're sitting right there is they're fucking hiding or chilling out after all the gunshots and shit happened. He's squatted right there.
I just grabbed this from this guy. He's right there. Get on the fucking ground. Get on the ground.
And he has a gunshot wound, so clearly he was the guy. That's the guy that's being charged with the murder.
That's a fucking rifle. That's a fucking goddamn rifle. That guy has a fucking gun on his head. No, I'm staying right here. Come on, right? Come on. Guys, get back. Out of here.
Like, that's pretty insane, right? Like, the guy's just like, oh, well, this bag has a rifle in it, and it belongs to that guy right there. He's right here, cops.
Yeah, we're not fucking. It's a rifle right here. Hey, right there. This guy, I just grabbed this from this guy. He's right there. Get off the fucking ground. Get off the ground. Get out. That's a fucking rifle. That's a fucking goddamn rifle. That guy has fucking gun on his hands. Look, I'm standing right here. Come on, Mike. Guys, get back. Out of here. Stay here. Come here. Yeah, we're not fucking.
Why would he pull out an AR-15 to start manipulating it, right? Pulling the charge and handle back, fucking loading fucking whatever, right? Why the fuck would he do that? And then run away with them. It says he was raised by the LDS Church in Utah by a Venezuelan immigrant father. The fuck is that shit? This is from Sarah Field, so who knows? He was a drummer in a radical anti-government punk band called Raid, and his social media indicated that he was an anti-Trump pro-Antifa. He was also a supporter of BLM in 2020, is what Sarah Uncensored says. Who knows, but could be. But what the fuck was he doing with an AR-15 at the? I don't know. And then if he is like this leftist guy and wasn't fucking trying to hurt them, then why, when they're like, hey, what do you do? Why do you run away? He shared a post that says Antifa means anti-fascist. If you're anti-Antifa, then you are pro-fascist. Anti-fascism is not an ideology or a group. It is the baseline for a human with any kind of moral compass. If you support Trump, you support a fascist. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now, he didn't write that. He shared that. Hell, I would fucking share that. That doesn't mean he was a member of Antifa, but that's what Sarah Fields is claiming. And a bunch of other people are sharing her post. The right's going to try to use this as offsetting penalties. If they ever have to admit that Voltaire was right-wing, which they're still lying about that now, right? He was appointed to a board by a Democratic governor. Okay. But if they ever have to admit it, then they'll just be like, we're even, right? You had one kind of guy that was a shooter, and then we had one guy that was a shooter. Patch for Utah against police brutality and a pin of Venezuelan flag with a bit of looking. It's easy to find. Utah against police brutality is closely affiliated with PSL, who is working closely with 50501. There were claims made that Gamboa was an agitator unaffiliated with 5501 or 5501. I don't know how to say that. On social media shows a story of affiliation with the same group affiliations as Gamboa. In summary, no Kings SLC protests granted permit by the mayor, where 50501 security gets into a gunfight with Gamboa, an Antifa PSL affiliate, and one of the protest attendees is killed. 50501, PSL, and the mayor are fully responsible for this tragic death. That's what right-wing people on Twitter are saying. Maybe. I hate that an innocent bystander got shot while they were trying to engage this fucking lunatic. But $50-51? Oh, I guess. That's confusing, though. I don't like saying it like that. Because to me, 50-51 would be 5051. But it is true. It could also be pronounced 50-51. Because it's 50501. Yeah, I don't like that. That hurts my brain. Makes sense, though. Weird day, guys. Weird fucking day.
You should have had your facts before you started a smear campaign and fucking hacking into my shit and trying to ruin my life while I was laying in a coma that you all fucking didn't even know about. I've been missing you, dumb fucks.
Did you catch that?
You should have had your facts before you started a smear campaign and fucking hacking into my shit and trying to ruin my life while I was laying in a coma that you all fucking didn't even know about. I've been missing you, dumb fucks.
She's been missing. She was in a coma. She was in a coma, and y'all were talking shit, and she's been missing from her coma.
I'm pointing back at you guys don't know. I've never been homeless. My sisters have been homeless. Not to me. I'm pointing back at you guys don't know.
That's a fact we didn't know. That's true.
Can't make me feel guilty for what you did to me. And I'm alive out of a coma. You guys did this shit to me while
We did?
in a coma.
I did?
Can't make me feel guilty for something you guys did. Can't make me.
Someone said, I've been here 3 weeks, and I'm still trying to figure out who she is talking about.
I think people have been looking for me. Because the angels were back in the sky in the United States when I came back.
Guys, if you love this kind of groundbreaking content I bring to you, please consider supporting the show at coldbeer.fund. That's how we pay the bills around here, and we're a little bit short this month. If you can support the show, go to coldbeer.fund, where you can make a contribution to pay the bills this month. And hopefully this is the last month, and then we'll be back on top of it. Thank you very much.
Get your fucking life straight and get your story straight. I think people have been looking for me. Because the angels were, oh, need to get your story straight. I was missing. They didn't tell everybody I was in a coma. They told people they killed me.
Very good question in the chat. It says, if you were in a coma, how do you know what they said?
I'm not dead. I'm well alive, motherfuckers. Oh, need to get your story straight. I was missing. They didn't tell everybody I was in a coma. They told people they killed me. I'm not dead. I'm well alive, motherfuckers. Oh, everywhere you guys say I'm at, I'm not at. Do you see me in those people's cars? No. You're seeing my sisters or the clone. Everywhere you guys say I'm at, I'm not at.
That makes sense.
You see me in those people's cars? No. You're seeing my sisters or the clone. Everywhere you guys say
My sisters or the clone? Is that what it said?
I'm at, I'm not at. Do you see me in those people's cars? No. You're seeing my sisters or the clone.
Ooh. Or the clone. Now I feel like we went another level.
And you know what that cop asked me? If I have a Facebook, if I'm talking on Facebook. No, I'm not on Facebook. So whoever has my stolen phone and my stolen laptop is in my account on Facebook talking shit. And you know what that cop asked me? If I have a Facebook, if I'm talking on Facebook. No, I'm not on Facebook. So whoever has my stolen phone and my stolen laptop is in my account on Facebook talking shit. And man, you guys are getting me scared to where I don't even want to get in a relationship with all your fucking lies.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for the great coma content. Oh, and a resubscription. Thank you very much.
I can fix her.
You can fix her, I'm sure. I would start at a fucking dentist.
You guys are doing. I'm saying, stop hurting me.
Thank you very much.
Guys, fucking relationship. My sisters have messed around with women and other men. My sisters have messed around with women and other men.
I got a small dick, but wait till it get hard. She gonna be like, damn, shit, my God.
Look forward to your streams every evening. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the donation. It's her sisters messing around with all the other men.
My sister, I have never fucking messed around with women. or other men. I have never fucking messed around.
Somebody put or toothpaste or toothbrush.
You guys are making up so many fucking stories. You can't even keep up with your fucking lies, man.
Mine.
Whoever you are, you're probably my crazy psychotic uncle. You guys are making up.
Whoever you are, you're probably my crazy psychotic uncle. Well, then you know who we are. It's not whoever you are. It's your uncle.
So many fucking stories. People need to stop saying who they're with me when they're not. People need to stop making up lies. I haven't been with anybody in 10 and a half years. 4 of it, I was in a coma. Not even in the United States. People need to stop.
An overseas coma. Now we're starting to get somewhere.
I'm so ready about to start drinking again. God damn, you guys. I'm so ready about to start drinking again. God damn, you guys. People are fucking illusions or whatever.
People are fucking illusions or whatever. That is a strong way to start a video.
People are fucking illusions or whatever. My ex is single. I'm single. You're listening to my crazy uncle that says he's fucking my ex. He's my uncle. People are fucking illusions or whatever. My ex is
Your ex is your uncle?
single. I'm single. You're listening to my crazy uncle that says he's fucking my ex. He's my uncle. People are fucking illusions or whatever. You're listening to somebody I've never been with that's calling me his ex, okay? Never been with him. He's my uncle. Get that out of your fucking head. You're listening to somebody I've never... You guys are listening to
Some people said, I feel like I missed a couple seasons.
a fucking psycho that is not with me. I'm not with that psycho either. My ex is single. I'm single. You guys are listening to a fuck. Why do people get me mixed up when he states he's single too again? And I'm single. So why do you keep getting that mixed up? We're both single. We're not with people. What?
I'm just living my...
They're planning to attack me because of all their lives. You better fix this pretty fucking fast. Hope you know your city cop was drinking on the job that came here tonight. Smelled like a brewery.
You realize I have a lot of half brothers and real brothers, a lot of nephews, a lot of cousins, and they all know I don't lie and I don't make up stories. They all know I've been speaking the truth. You realize I have a lot of half brothers and real brothers, a lot of nephews, a lot of cousins, and they all know I don't lie and I don't make up stories. They all know I've been speaking the truth. I remember that conversation between two girls.
I've got a lot of neph sons.
Said that about a man. Yeah, you don't want to see how far these boys are gonna go.
Ooh,
Keep hurting me.
that does make sense.
I remember that conversation between two girls. Said that about a man.
You guys want to see what Austin sent me today? About the secret practice of anal steaming. Learn everything you need to know about how to soothe and balance your tush with anal steaming. An experience you'll never forget. Anal steaming is a practice in which a person allows the warmth of herbal steam to permeate the delicate tissues of their anal area. An anal steam gently and effectively soothes, balances tones, and revitalizes your tail end, providing you with wide-range benefits for health, from reduced pain, itching, swelling, inflammation, to increased mental well-being and satisfying bowel movements. I bet you it smells amazing. Anal steaming is the opportunity to reconnect with your body and utilize the wisdom of plant medicine to promote healing. I don't know if he's starting a business or what, but he sent me this and asked me if I would share it with you guys. It's from Mind, Body, Soul, Idaho. So Oh, speaking of which, have you guys seen the clip of Pete Hegseth saying, I shouldn't even be saying this here, but they were sticking marbles up cats' rear ends. You guys seen that when he's in front of Congress? Do you guys know that that's a study that was authorized under Trump to help bring back the ability for soldiers that have spinal injuries to be able to take a shit? Like, I'm telling you, you can take any fucking scientific study and describe it in the least flattering way. Like, what the fuck are you... Like, what? It's insane. Hold on. I'll show it to you. Pete Hegseth just said this in front of Congress the other day. Like, they're sticking marbles up cats' rear ends. Well, that's not exactly what's going on, and you know that. We know that, right? It was literally for soldiers with spinal injuries to regain the ability potentially to use their sphincter again, which sounds like a worthy cause. No, maybe not. Maybe I'm just making it all up, I guess. Let's see. I think I have it handy. If I don't, we'll Google search it. But I think I have it handy here. I don't think that's it. Let me show you the video. Like you can take any study and present it in the worst, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, make it sound as ridiculous as possible.
But we did find lots of other research inside the Defense Department to the 10.
So basically they were like, you know, you did the Doge thing and you claimed you found all this waste, fraud, and abuse, but we're not seeing it, right? We're not seeing any of that.
But we did find lots of other research inside the Defense Department to the tens and millions, and in some cases, hundreds of millions of dollars that was a boondoggle for the American people.
Why?
And
Why do you
we were
say,
proud to get
give me
rid
an
of it.
example of a boondoggle in medical research in
There are
defense
multiple. I mean, we're talking about.
I went and found the study. So basically, it is a study to simulate defecation. And they were using test subjects, some of those including cats, to determine whether a procedure restored control of the sphincter in test subjects to eventually apply that to soldiers that had been paralyzed in duty.
Some stuff I shouldn't say in public. You know, marbles in the rear ends of cats, tens of millions of dollars, things that don't
research in
there are
defense.
I mean, we're talking about some stuff I shouldn't say in public. You know, marbles in the rear ends of cats, tens of millions of dollars, things that don't have
like the
a connection to what you're talking about.
Is
So
this
I
like the
respect
350-year-old Social Security check that the president told us?
Senator, I respect completely the issue that you're speaking with, and this department couldn't be more sympathetic to that and ensure that it's funded. But the Defense Department has been a place where organizations, entities, and companies know they can get money almost unchecked to whether or not it actually applies to things that happen on the battlefield.
That's not true at all, right? I know a lot of people believe that, but it's just not true. The aim of this study was to determine whether stimulation of sacral spinal nerve roots can induce defecation in cats, and anesthetized cats bipolar hook electrodes were placed in blah, blah, blah. Stimulus pulses were applied to an individual S1, S3 to induce proximal, distal, colon contractions and defecation. Balloon catheters were inserted in the proximal and distal colon to measure contraction pressure. Glass marbles were inserted into the rectum to demonstrate defecation. by videotaping the elimination of marbles, stimulation of the S2 ventral root at 7 hertz. So basically, it would take soldiers and it would give them a device that they could use to where if they're paralyzed, they basically can't hold back their shit, right? They have to carry around a bag. It just runs out of them. This would give them a device that through an electrical pulse stimulation would keep that closed and keep no matter what was inside. And then when they actually got to a restroom, they could sit on a toilet, shut off that signal, and use the bathroom at least kind of close to the way that other people use the bathroom, right? That's all it was. But they're like, oh, they were just sticking cats in marbles' asses for no reason. Are you shitting me? And it was all approved under the Trump administration, by the way.
But we worked very hard to find in ways that other secretaries have not. This committee and others talk about waste, fraud, and abuse all the time. We have actually gone after waste.
And the American Journal of Physiology said it was very promising, specifically for spinal injuries, paralyzed people paralyzed from like the waist down, chest down, and for soldiers.
Because every dollar that's spent is a dollar we can pour into the
eliminating 2/3 of the money for defense health.
The reason it went through the Department of Defense is because it was specifically for soldiers.
Put that next to the decision to cut NIH medical research by 40%. Does that make America great again for these military families? I don't think so. $45 million for a parade, for God's sake. Money should be put in defense medical research instead of wasted on some pomp and circumstance for the president. This is not consistent with what the men and women in uniform deserve.
But we did find lots of other research inside the Defense Department to the tens and millions, and in some cases, hundreds of millions of dollars that was a boondoggle for the American people.
Why? Why do you say?
Proud to
give me an example of a boondoggle in medical research.
There are multiple. I mean, we're talking about some stuff I shouldn't say in public. You know, marbles in the rear ends of cats. Tens of millions of dollars, things that don't have
like the
a connection to what you're talking about.
Is this like the 350-year-old Social Security check that the president told us?
I respect completely the issue that you're speaking with, and this department couldn't be more sympathetic to that and ensure that it's funded. But the Defense Department has been a place where organizations, entities, and companies know they can get money almost unchecked to whether or not it actually applies to things that happen on the battlefield. That's what we worked very hard to find in ways that other sectors.
Here's the actual award. University of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is awarded $10,451,439 cost reimbursement agreement. So they have to spend it to get this money to develop revolutionary new treatment that approaches for spinal cord injuries that integrate injury stabilization, regenerative therapy, and function restoration. This 5-year contract includes no options. Work will be performed at contractors' facilities in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 37%, Goose Creek, South Carolina, 35%, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 28%. The period of performance of this award is from September 30th, 2020 through September 29th, 2025. Fiscal 2020 research, development, test, and evaluation. Navy funds in the amount of $1,380,172 will be obligated at the time of the award. This agreement was competitively procured via Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, board agency announcement, solicitation published. So they were asking. This was solicited for. It wasn't like they presented a paper and said, hey, we might be able to do this. They were asking for this. Like, I don't know. Why be so fucking disingenuous about it, right? Like if they can give soldiers or anybody the ability to hold their shit in until they get to the toilet, like especially if they've been injured in like fucking combat and shit, that's insane. Why you? Because I know why. Because it plays good on the media, right? You can say we found they were spending $10 million to shove marbles in cats' assholes, and it plays good for the media. That's it. That's the only reason. Durbin immediately fired back, asking whether their headset claim was similar to unproven tales told by President Donald Trump and his Doge team about people hundreds of years old still receiving Social Security checks. The research that appears to be referring to was money awarded in 2020 during President Trump's first term to reimburse the University of Pennsylvania's $10 million for research to develop revolutionary new treatment approaches for spinal cord injuries. The contract was awarded and is available on the Department of Defense website. Hegseth's claims about the marbles being inserted in the rear ends of cats is correct, but it lacks all context. Soldiers or anyone else who suffer from spinal cord injuries can lose control of their bowels. The study used anesthesia anesthetized cats as test subjects to study the impact of a new procedure to restore functionality in the sphincter and rectum. The marbles were meant to simulate defecation and determine whether a procedure restored control in these test subjects. The results were encouraging, according to the American Journal of Physiology. The study indicates the possibility to develop a novel device to restore defecation function after spinal cord injury using a minimally invasive surgical approach. Durbin said Hegseth's proposed budget cuts 2/3 of funding for the Defense Department's medical research, which is true. Hegseth countered that his team was targeting waste, fraud, and abuse and would not cut funding for programs that benefit members of the military. Really? Because this sounds like it might not benefit like the military at large, but this sounds extremely important for soldiers with spinal cord injuries. He previously announced $5 billion in cuts across the entire Department of Defense. They cut the Department of Defense medical research by 2/3. Like, what the fuck? The Defense Department has been a place where organizations, entities, and companies know they can get money almost unchecked, whether or not it's actually applied to things that happen on the battlefield, Hegseth told Durbin. That's what we worked very hard to find in ways other secretaries have not. After the hearing, a spokesperson for Senator Durbin told WGN, while Secretary Hegseth attempted to distract from the larger issues with his comment about marbles and cats, here are just a few examples of DoD research contracts that have been canceled or frozen under the administration. New breast cancer and prostate cancer therapies, which would have help afflicted service members, improve protective gear to defend soldiers against projectiles and chemical threats, advanced materials for more durable and lightweight aircraft parts, and the list goes on and on. Do these sound like boondoggles to you? That was from the senator's office. Like, I don't know. You can make anything sound crazy. Like the shrimp on treadmill or fucking, what was the other one? They're giving hamsters steroids and making them fight each other or whatever. Pretty crazy, I guess. We weren't finished being in a coma, were we? For real, you have to come to my apartment to talk to me. I will hear you out, but don't come at me with lies.
That's what I want to know. When we have adult kids, who do you think you're fucking with when I'm the fucking boss? For real.
Rick Ross, the actual boss.
I want to know. When we have adult kids, who do you think you're fucking with when I'm the fucking boss? For real. That's what I
Rick Ross, the boss.
Kids, who do you think you're fucking with? If anything, the actor's up here saying that they're him. Claiming to be him. The actor that got hired.
Makes sense.
I'm the one they've been looking for. Yeah. Your halo's right here. I'm home. Oklahoma. Just stuck up here where I don't want to be. I used to do ski boats with systems in Mount Shasta, Lake Tahoe, Arizona, down south. Used to have a ski boat with a major system in it. I used to do ski boats with systems in Mount Shasta, Lake Tahoe, Arizona.
Makes sense.
Relax. On the road, wherever. Ready to get the hell out of here. Ready to go to where I can relax. On the road, wherever. Ready to get the hell out of here. Ready to go.
Better get the hell out of here. And this is probably the most terrifying thing that's come up in the last few hours.
Trump said, nah. Israel has asked the United States to join the war to help eliminate Iran's nuclear program, and that is actually still up for discussion. I mean, just earlier today, President Trump said, nah, it's possible. So it's worth diving into the reasons behind this act to better understand how the United States may respond in coming days. I mean, there is a non-zero chance that U.S. military assets are striking targets in Iran by the end of the week, which is crazy, but it's more likely right now in the next coming days than it's ever been in my lifetime, I think. Now, we're going to also get into some updated battle damage assessments and the impact that Israeli strikes are having.
I think Trump told them, like, I need you to cut between this and this, make it look good, right? I need you to cut between this one and this one. Just make it look good, and then put a spin on it to where it sounds like we're not taking away from veterans, or we're not doing this, or we're not breaking this.
in Iran, but starting with the U.S. involvement here, it's worth mentioning that
or whoever's pulling the strings behind Trump. Trump's a fucking retard, right? Pete Hegseth was probably just told they're shoving marbles in cats' asses. He probably didn't read the research paper.
the United States is already involved to a degree. Now, President Trump, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth are adamant and consistent in their messaging over the last couple of days that the United States is not participating and was not involved in offensive military operations with Israel against Iran. There's no indications that that has changed or is any different than the official statements they put out. However, we have been acting in a defensive capacity, intercepting Iranian munitions fired at Israel. According to the Wall Street Journal, they say after sitting out the Iran attack, U.S. steps in to help Israel intercept missiles. The U.S. military is operating in the air, on land, and at sea to shoot down Iranian missiles fired at Israel in response to its attack on Iran's nuclear program and military leadership, tilting Washington toward more direct involvement in the widening conflict. And this is something that I feel like folks will debate in the different directions here. This is some degree of involvement. You know, not doing anything would be no involvement, but we now have military assets engaging hostile missiles and drones in an ongoing conflict. That is more involvement than nothing. And the argument that this article is making is that makes it that much easier to go a step further and maybe start carrying
already, yeah. Once you got your toes in, right, it's easier to get in the pool.
out, you know, more offensive style operations. They say before the retaliatory strike even began, U.S. jet fighters, Navy destroyers, and ground-based air defense systems had positioned to help counter any attack. They had the U.S. ground-based interceptors also help defend Israel in the latest barrages. This is according to U.S. officials. Not all that shocking. In the last few major attacks carried out by Iran against Israel, we did.
There are, okay, look, I'm no fan of Israel. As most of you people will know, I'm no fan of Israel. But there are mouth-breathing fucking retards on Twitter. So often, Israel hits targets in Gaza that are in city centers, okay? And they will say things like, we had to hit that city center because they use their people as human shields, okay? Then Iran strikes Israel. Israel fires their anti-aircraft missiles from city centers. And they're like, sorry, Israel, you shouldn't have put your military targets within city centers. Why would we have anti-air missiles near city centers? Just think about it. You'll figure it out in a minute. Why would we put specifically those? Like, I'm not saying you should put a bomb manufacturing plant in a neighborhood. Why would you have anti-air missiles near city centers? Because it's a protective measure. That's not the same, right? It's not the same. You can't say that for that, right? Fucking idiots.
Did see the United States step in and assist in intercepting some of those munitions. This is a purely defensive role, but it's also not without risk. Just flying aircraft around in airspace where there are drones and missiles flying in one direction and fighter jets flying in the other direction is not the safest place to be, not by a long shot. Now, those assets are also helping to protect American forces in the region should they come under Iranian attack.
That's right.
I don't want to brush over the fact that while all the attention here, understandably so, is on Iran and Israel being the two main belligerents, there are U.S. military personnel in the middle of this in harm's way day in and day out. Again, not on the receiving end of these strikes and not firing into the munitions, but the active role of intercepting hostile missiles and drones is not entirely without risk. So let's make sure we keep that in mind. Now, turning over to a statement just earlier today from President Trump, who's been pushed on this a couple times. We actually have some of his more senior advisors suggesting that it's time to go in and participate in this fighting. President Trump, in an interview with ABC earlier today, was asked, will the United States get more involved in this conflict? A direct question. And he said, we're not involved in it. It's possible we could get involved. Again, that is still on the table. There's been a lot of reports, unverified, anonymous source type stuff, that this is an ongoing conversation in the White House. And I might brush it aside if it weren't for the fact that we are actively engaged in intercepting munitions. And when asked this question directly, President Trump says, it's possible. This could be a negotiating tactic to try to pressure Iran to come to the table. But I think when you step...
It's possible. We might just go into full-blown war in the Middle East again. It's possible.
Back and look at everything here, it really is the most likely time in the last 10, 20, maybe more years that the U.S. could carry out military action against Iran. Now, in Axios, Barack Ravid reported that Israel is now asking the United States to join the war with Iran to eliminate their...
They're claiming that, which this has been a claim that Israel said a bunch of times. They're claiming that Israel could have just been weeks away from having a nuclear weapon. But you can go all the way back to fucking Netanyahu back in the 90s saying they're 1 to 2 years away. They're 3 to 5 years away. They're, we need to strike now. So who knows if that's true or not.
Nuclear program. He says Israel has asked the Trump administration over the past 48 hours to join the war, according to 2 Israeli officials. He says Israel lacks the bunker buster bombs and large bomber aircraft needed to destroy Iran's Fordo nuclear enrichment site, or uranium enrichment site, which is built into a mountain and deep underground. The U.S. has both within flying distance of Iran. Now, getting into why Israel would want the United States assistance here, of course, we have that aspect, the different types of munitions, at least more on hand, I think it's safe to say, to be able to carry out some of those strikes to help destroy some of the underground facilities. Because if Israel carries out days, even weeks, or months worth of strikes against Iran and completely eliminates, say, their above-ground military capabilities, and there's still some aspect of their nuclear program intact below ground, then this entire operation was a failure. Remember, there's a couple key...
Can you build a facility deep enough to avoid airdropped munitions? Sorta, right? Sort of. So if a facility... Here, let's do this. If it's... You guys want to learn something? If this is ground level, right? Then we have concrete and rebar, and then another layer of concrete and rebar, and then a layer of hard packed earth, and then this very last layer down here is our facility. We got people in here, right? There's happy people in our facility. One bomb is not going to... Let's change the size. One bomb is not going to get all the way through this. So what it takes is bombs that are made for this, right? Bunker buster bombs, plus very precise targeting. So if we have a bomb hit here and make this crater, right? So all this is gone. And then a bomb hit here and make a very similar crater, and all this is gone. What we need is a bomb to hit here, and then another bomb to hit here, and then another bomb to hit here. In actuality, what that looks like is like maybe a bomb here, maybe a bomb here, then a third bomb comes in, takes another clump out, and then another bomb hits here, and it's just a wearing this down. Israel, I don't think has enough. If they do have bunker buster devices, I don't think there's no way they got enough, right? There's no way that they can go in with enough to drop enough on target that longer range. Like, yeah, they're just not gonna be able to do it. The U.S. could do it for sure. So then you say, well, what if they build it deeper? Well, then we need to blow more shit up, right? We need to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. The reason the Taliban cave systems work so well is because this is a known location we've got, right? We know where these locations are. We watch them on satellite being built. But if you were looking like, if this is a mountain and we're looking top down on a mountain and we know they go in here, right? This is their entryway. We could blow the hell out of this, right? But we don't know that they dug a tunnel over here and then over here and then back this way and then over here and then over here and then over here. We would end up having to destroy the mountain. That's the way that works, right? But the facilities in Iran, they have to be able to get trucks in. They have to be able to get equipment in. They have to be able to get centrifuges in. They have to be able to get stuff out of them. Like, we watched them build them. We know where they're at. It's not like they're hiding them from us. We know exactly where they're all at. And so does Israel.
Key aspects to what Israel is carrying out here. One is to eliminate the immediate threat. They say Iran was maybe just a couple days away from being able to acquire a nuclear weapon or make that sprint to acquire a nuclear weapon, and they have gone exponential in their production of ballistic missiles. So that's the immediate threat, making sure that Israel couldn't be hit in the next few weeks. But the more intermediate and long-term threat is the continued development of this nuclear program. So if they're able to pause it or slow it down at least, but not eliminate it entirely, this operation cannot succeed. Another advantage here for the United States, or for Israel, is of course the United States provides additional military reach and scale. It's more military assets, larger military assets. We just have a bigger military force. Who wouldn't want that contributing to their ongoing war? There's also an aspect of political international cover here, where the United States might be able to kind of keep the international community at bay a bit more if we're directly involved. And there might not be a timeline, people pressuring Iran or pressuring Israel in this case, to hurry up and wrap up that war. We don't like the bombing. We've seen that before with Israel, especially during their fighting in Gaza, but also up north in Lebanon. The issue here is there's also possibly a political opening for President Trump to give this the green light. As we sit here today, Israel has said that they have established air superiority over Western Iran and the capital of Tehran. We're starting to see Israeli aircraft drop guided bombs, different types of aircraft, non-stealth aircraft, likely now flying through Iranian airspace. That means that the Iranian air defense network is weaker now than it probably has ever been since the inception of the Iranian nuclear program, which means it is also the lowest risk time for United States bombers to fly overhead and hammer some of those targets. So if it's a lower risk for President Trump, and we need you've heard President Trump say it and others, Iran cannot get a bomb. If we stop this operation today, and the Fordo site is not entirely destroyed, Iran might get back to this point at some time in the future. The elimination of so much of Iran's air defense opens that door to where it might be a relatively low-risk operation compared to what it could have been even just a week ago. That might be enough for...
targeting the entrance or entrances used to be a valid strategy. It's just not anymore, right? They build fucking 200-foot-long goddamn tunnels with switchbacks and doors after sets of doors after sets of doors after sets of doors. Right, they just had to make the entrances a lot fucking longer. I don't think it's a valuable strategy anymore, unless you just want to stop them for a few days, right?
People to pressure President Trump into saying it's time, at least a couple sorties into Iran to hit some of those deep buried uranium enrichment sites. I really wouldn't rule that out right now. In fact, coming from inside of Trump's circle, we have Senator Lindsey Graham, who's been pushing for this just today. Here, let's get a listen.
The worst possible outcome for the world is for the Iranian nuclear program to survive after all this. How do you destroy their program? Through diplomacy? I prefer that, or through military action.
We've kind of been put in a situation where if somebody doesn't put a foot on their neck, then they leave this even more emboldened, right, to continue what they're doing. They have a big, scary target now. They have even more of a reason to build a weapon to strike Israel with. And they feel like, well, they're not going to do nothing. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
If diplomacy is not successful and we left with the option of force, I would urge President Trump to go all in to make sure that when this operation is over, there's nothing left standing in Iran regarding...
Sure, Russia has nothing left to really send there. You're right.
Their nuclear program. If that means providing bombs, provide bombs. If that means flying...
Busting bombs?
Whatever bombs. If it means flying with Israel, fly with Israel. The worst possible outcome for the world is to take the Iranian nuclear program on and leave it standing. That will be a disaster.
And in case there's any confusion there, Senator Graham clarifies for us. He's not just talking about providing additional munitions or political cover for Israel, but flying missions alongside the Israeli Air Force. Here you go.
I've said as clearly as I can say. If diplomacy fails, Mr. President Trump, you've been great. Help Israel finish the job. Give them bombs.
I like the idea of like using things like Stuxnet, or even before Stuxnet was implemented, we used CIA and assets to destroy their supply chain for the things they were trying to buy. Right? We made shit disappear. Shipments never made it. They paid for stuff and didn't get it. But you can only do that so long, right?
Bombs, fly with them if necessary. I cannot stress to you how, if you want to get Russia right, you want to make China be better, you want to convince international terrorism we mean business, you've got to finish the job with Iran.
So again, it's hard to say what the political calculus is in the United States right now. There's some very strong voices advocating, like Senator Graham is. There's also very strong, powerful voices arguing against any involvement at all, and they're probably going to get upset when they find out that the United States is already intercepting some of these munitions. But nonetheless...
And they pitch it to their people as, hey, we need power, and we use nuclear power. No one wants to take their nuclear power capabilities away, and I don't think that we should be able to limit their nuclear power capabilities. It's the heavy enrichment where they're making weapons with it that people want to regulate.
That is a conversation going on right now that I don't think a lot of people expected not too long ago, and it is not unlikely that the United States is engaged in direct military action with Iran within the next week. Now, turning over to what is happening right now with IDF operations. Earlier today, the IDF confirmed that it bombed an Iranian refueling plane in northeastern Iran, some 2,300 kilometers from Israel, which marks the most distant strike since the beginning of the operation. Again, continuing to expand this air corridor and the air superiority that Israel enjoys over more and more of Iranian airspace.
I would assume that China probably sent them anti-aircraft stuff.
General Staff said, quote, the IDF through the Israeli Air Force has paved the way to Tehran and is striking the regime.
I think they claimed they were helping to evacuate people or some shit, but...
Structure a nuclear program with precision and scale beyond what the enemy had anticipated. I think that's pretty safe to say. By all accounts at this point, we're hearing that not only was Iran completely caught off guard, but even some in Israeli leadership didn't expect things to go as well as they have so far. But this is nowhere near over. In fact, it...
Also, if the flight is, I've seen it reported by multiple people, a transponder went off, they believe it landed in Iran, stayed for a couple hours, then left back, and when it gets back over neutral territory, it turns its transponder back on. The biggest thing that China can get from us right now is if they have very high-end radar. They want to deploy that anywhere they can get it. That an F-35 might be flying, right? Because we're probably going to have to go to war with China when they go to invade Taiwan. They need repetition with the F-35s. They need repetition on all our airframes. But the F-35 is a big one. If they can get that data, that's going to be huge for them.
Really looks like both Israel and Iran are kind of digging in for what could be a long fight. From the Iranian side, we are seeing a decrease in the number of missiles that have been fired day over day. I don't know if we should read much into that. On the one hand, you could easily look at that number and say, well, that must mean that they're running low on munitions, or they can't fire as many at a time. But that mistake has been made with Russia, hasn't it? Remember, month 3 or 4 into the war, we saw a significant reduction in their missiles flying into Ukrainian territory, and people were quick to say, hey, I think Russia's going to be on the verge of out of...
I don't think they want a Chinese missile fired from Iran hitting an F-35. Because that's an incident, an international incident, right? If we know it, that escalates it, and they're not ready to escalate it right now. They want the data. Can our radar pick it up? What does its fucking radar signature look like? How can we target that further out? How can we make basically a program to run to look for these United States airframes?
Munitions before we even know it. By summer, Russia won't have anything left. Now, a little bit apples to oranges when comparing the Russian industrial base to that of Iran, but we have to be careful to not look at 1 or 2 days worth of strikes to extrapolate that out to mean something more than it does. There are still quite a few underground facilities with missiles, drones, and long-range munitions that we believe Iran has yet to tap into, likely including some of their larger missile systems. And to that end, the Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Zamir, put out a statement earlier today to the people of Israel, saying, quote, "We are on the 3rd day of Operation Rising Lion. This is a historic and unprecedented operation aimed at delivering a significant blow to an existential threat that Iran has built over the years with the goal of annihilating us. Defending our home front is a critical component of this campaign. As I told you from the beginning, there will be difficult moments."
Pakistan is really good at playing all sides. They were teamed up with us while we were fucking hunting Osama bin Laden while they were also housing him. Right, like that.
In the midst of a challenge unlike those we have faced in the past, we knew there would be a price, and it underscores why we acted now, before it became too late. The IDF is deploying its finest systems, methods, and capabilities to minimize casualties, but there is no such thing as complete protection. And I think that's a fairy tale world that we've lived in, especially here in the United States for quite a while, assuming with the advent of air defense weapon systems, and we see the crazy technology that we can shoot down, fast-moving missiles and drones and rockets. They are never 100% accurate. I mean, when you're getting above 90%, that's incredible, especially in the midst of a war zone like this. And I think it's accurate and responsible for Israeli leadership here to stress to the citizenry, we're going to do the best we can. Some of these are going to get through. There's just no two ways about it. And for what it's worth, it does seem like that's been the messaging from the start here. He says, "People of Israel, I promise you, anyone who harms you will pay and is paying a heavy price, anywhere and in every arena. We are in the midst of a multi-front war. As we strike the Iranian regime, we continue to defend in Gaza and other arenas. In fact, I believe just yesterday, an Israeli soldier was killed in Gaza. Operations there are still very much ongoing." He says, "The people of Israel in their unique spirit have always demonstrated resilience and unity in decisive moments. That is the moment we are in now. We are a life-seeking nation, and to ensure our future and freedom, we must be ready to make difficult decisions. The operation is at its peak modesty, unity, stability, and faith in the justice of our cause. Our actions speak louder than words. Like a lion, the people rise." And he puts this out as there is another against Israel just not long ago. As I was beginning this recording, it looks like an even smaller number, roughly 30 missiles fired at this point, maybe some additional drones. And for what it's worth, Israel stressed earlier today, or confirmed earlier today, that they have shot down more Iranian drones headed towards their country, and that 0 drones have actually penetrated Israeli airspace to date. So we're getting more and more footage of successful drone interceptions. This is a lot easier to film. You can see these things coming a long ways away, not just on the radar, but you can visually see these a lot easier as well. And then a lot of the ways that they're being intercepted, as we can see in some of this footage, is with helicopters firing their guns, 30mm guns at these drones. Very inexpensive way to down these. And so far, it looks like Israel has been very, very effective in eliminating the drone threat. Now, last up here, I want to bring up some imagery, some satellite imagery that just came out came out earlier today of the Hamadan Air Base and then the Tabriz Air Base in Iran. So these were focus of the Israeli attacks in the opening hours of this offensive. And the first one here, Hamadan, this is one that the IDF said has been completely destroyed. So we're going to get a little nitpicky here because these strikes are incredibly impressive. But if we're going with destroyed, it's like a surgical type destruction. So generally I would expect to see like these entire buildings brought down. But what you're seeing here, starting in the top left, penetration of these what appear to be hardened structures with likely then detonations inside. And you can see that every one of these
even blown out
protective covers seem to have been penetrated. The understanding there would be an aircraft is directly underneath where the...
It is incredibly precise as well.
munitions are, or close enough by to where when that missile detonates or munition detonates, it does pretty significant damage. So left to right, we've got 3 hits. I think that's the not different facility. So 3. Then moving down here, 2 more hangars that were hit, and then the bottom right, you see that Israel cratered the runway, making it unusable for a short period of time. The bottom right one there, that's the kind of thing that can be repaired relatively quickly. A capable military can put that back in use relatively rapidly. But remember, the focus of these strikes in the opening hours of this campaign was not just going after surface-to-surface missiles that Iran might launch in their response, but also their Air Force, keeping the Air Force grounded and making sure that they weren't able to take off and launch any sort of response against Israel, even if that response was against some of the Israeli aircraft or trying to shoot down what might be drones or incoming missiles. So cratering the runway would have helped in that capacity. The second one here is the Tabriz Air Base, and this one I want to make sure we call out Brady Afric. Bottom right here shows his information. That's where I gathered this satellite imagery from. I'll link Brady's view from above Substack in the description. He's 100% worth checking out. Great guy there. But looking at the Tabriz Air Base infrastructure here, again, we've got a couple different pictures worth running through. The first one showing the cratering of the runway. Pretty impressive stuff, start to finish. Again, making it to where these aircraft can't get out in any sort of timely manner. But we've also got a second image here showing the accuracy of, again, this isn't close to the runway. It is directly in the middle of the runway in multiple spots, but also some buildings. And this one's a little harder to see, but you're looking at, again, aircraft hangars. You see those protected structures there near the runway. So
it's in the dead center of all those. Those are
action. Most of those
are pretty crazy.
A single hole right through the top.
All right, here's the video that they were talking about. Matt Gutman.
No, I didn't. You're on TV, and now you're pushing me on live television. All right, we didn't touch anybody. You know that's true. You're okay. Thank you.
Why would a fucking ABC reporter be out there touching any of them? You know what I mean?
So you can see, obviously, tensions are extremely high here.
Yes, because you touched the officer.
We have video testimony. Nobody touched an officer. Okay. Obviously, massively high tensions here. These folks are tired. They are also hot. It's a long day, and it's been a long week. We clearly didn't touch the officers. You're on live television, sir.
Yes, you did. We were live on the air.
Thank you so much. We will stay back. We appreciate
the guy's fucking insane, dude. He needs some time off, bro.
what you're doing here. Tensions are high. That was a moment that we haven't experienced very often here. I think that there has been respect between the media and law enforcement here. We have kept our distance. No, I didn't. You're on TV, and now you're pushing me on live television. All right, we didn't touch anybody. You know that's true. You're okay. Thank you. I got it. So you can see.
Like once you tell him like you touched the officer first or whatever, and he's saying no, what the fuck is what is the point of to continue to engage here? For like 3 minutes. What is this?
Obviously, tensions are extremely high here.
Yes, because you touched the officer.
We have video testimony. Nobody touched an officer. Okay. Obviously, massively high tensions here. These folks are tired. They are also hot. It's a long day, and it's been a long week. We clearly didn't touch the officers. You're on live television, sir.
Yes, you did. We were live on the air.
Thank you so much. We will stay back. We appreciate what you're doing here. Tensions are high. That was a moment that we haven't experienced very often here. I think that there has been respect between the media and law enforcement here. We have kept our distance. No, I didn't.
Then he goes against his supervisor. He's like, I want to tell you, this guy touched that guy. No, we didn't. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Like, fucking somebody drag him back. Fucking choke him out or some shit.
Earlier with our Matt Gutman. Yes, Matt, go ahead.
So, Kira, just about to be whacked by an officer, but he kindly insisted on hitting me. We're trying to move back from this.
Earlier with our Matt Gutman. Yes, Matt, go ahead.
So, Kira,
And then we have bootlickers in the comments. USA Patriot says, reporters are not above the law. Don't touch the PD officers, period. Get the fuck out of here. All right, guys, I'm in kind of early tonight. Please consider supporting the show. Help pay the bills. We're kind of short this month, but this should be the last month if that's an issue, hopefully. I got a doctor's appointment fucking tomorrow. God damn it. Anyways, hopefully get that straightened out. Support the show at coldbeer.fun. We greatly appreciate it. I'm out of here for the night. Hope you guys had a good Father's Day. I'm going to go home and get some rest. You guys have a good night. I'll be kind of busy this week and next week, but I'll still be here streaming, I think. I don't know. When I have my mental health appointment or whatever, I might not stream that day. I'll be pretty fucking crazy afterwards. But thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Oh, thank you for the bits. I appreciate it.
Or here's another idea that's going to be very controversial. You could shut the fuck up.
That's right. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. We'll see y'all in the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye. It's on the 17th. Like I'm saying tomorrow because it's after midnight. Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Yeah. Happy Father's Day out there. It's actually the 17th, but here it just turned the 16th. So
this particular
it's on Tuesday. It's my appointment.
Have the fork and balls to call out the people
Fucking dreading it, but
by name and tell them exactly.
Gotta play the game.
Yeah, you don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believers? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping Trump's cock and begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like Thor in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, beating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, aliens.
By the way, the next time somebody comes at you with that guy, the Vance Beltier worked for Tim Walz, you can always hit him back with, that's a volunteer board position. Right, that's a volunteer. He wasn't Walz's chief of staff. He was on a volunteer board of 60 people. Like, that's insane to keep making that reference. He's clearly a liberal.
You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it."
Whoa, wait. Stop.
What?
I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me oh my God. Damn it.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the
I saw a clip of Bert talking on his podcast saying that he has to pay his rent weekly, and he's already 5 days late. So he's probably going to get evicted from his fucking weekly apartment.
Now things are getting rocking. He was doing so well. It's all over. Hands on his shoulders. They ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network do no damn research.
If I ever get that down bad, I'm just fucking leaving the internet. You won't see me begging for a sock, okay?
All this nonsense on my conscience. It's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night? These parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby-eating heathens. Believing in reason with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird motherfuckers out here busting the grifts.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
You don't have those guts, cause you're a pussy. You're a pussy wearing aviator glasses and